Thank you so much. Volume's okay in the back? James, you can hear me good? I've got to tell an amazing story. Hopefully I can teach some things. And my whole goal here is I'm going to bare my soul on the things that we messed up on. And is there anybody other than James that owns multifamily in the building? This isn't my game, but I'm here and we'll dig into it for a bigger purpose, and I think it will apply to everybody in the room. We'll talk about my mistakes. I'll give out some free resources because we give a lot of free content away, and we'll do Q&A. I will tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about, so don't go do anything based on what I say today. Go find a CPA, go find an attorney, and make sure you get things done by the book. I do things that work for us in our model, and it may not fit your situation. And so I'm just kind of sitting there in shock because I'd never had to lay people off before. I'd never been laid off, and I didn't really know how to do this. Right? It didn't feel right that people were making the sacrifices, and I knew what I was doing. I was doing 60 to 80 hours a week. I was living in Chester, and I had from Williamsburg all the way to the ocean, for those of you who geographics, and I had from I-64 all the way down to the North Carolina line. It's 3,000 square miles where we were securing real estate, doing engineering, and then actually doing the construction on the back end, taking overhead power lines, putting them underground. And so I was like, how can I make this objective? How can nobody say this is unfair? And there just wasn't a good answer. And it was kind of like when I took Leah to the 9/11 memorial, and she said, Daddy, why would they ever let anybody fly a plane into a building? How could that possibly be the case? And so I got through it by promising myself I would never do that again. Conversation my buddy Duran and I had on the stoop in college. In sophomore year, I was paying $395. I had 2 roommates paying the same. He lived downstairs. That was happening. We multiplied it out across the complex. The guy was making $700,000 a year. We never saw him. We never talked to him. We didn't understand expenses. We didn't understand any of that stuff. We just knew top line. This guy had $700,000 coming in. He didn't have to show up. He figured out how to decouple his time from money. And I was hooked, but I had a problem. Like, I put my mom and dad up there because they did the best that they could. Kudos to all of you for getting around people who are interested in real estate and being in a space where you can meet people who actually have capacity to help fund your deals. Because I was nowhere closer. And I didn't realize that I had a problem until I went to the bank. So I left corporate and I just took action, baby. I'm on LoopNet. I'm gonna buy a deal because I'm gonna go get that dream off the shelf and do it. I didn't have a plan. I'm just doing stuff. And I hear a lot of people say, just do it. But what you do is you end up chasing your tail. You're spinning your wheels. But here's where the rubber really met the road. I had no idea that this type of thing existed when I left corporate. I had no idea about the syndication stuff. So I went to the banks. Hey, I got this deal. Don't you want to give me $1 million? Who are you? I'm Jerome. What do you do? I want to buy this apartment building. How much do you need? $1 million. It's 1.2. I think he had listed for 1.3. He said, no. I was like, you're crazy. I'm going to the other place, right? I got an 800 credit score. I got money in the bank. Professional engineer, MBA, Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I got all the stuff. They didn't care about any of that, right? They said, Jerome, you need to go find a partner. Hey, do you know anything about that building behind the Chimbo Mart? Yeah, I tried to buy that 4 or 5 months ago, but the banks told me no. Said I didn't have the right experience in order to do this. You must be the guy I've been looking for. You're an experienced partner, right? He's like, we don't do a few things. And I said, please don't leave me out the deal. Whatever you do, don't leave me out the deal. And he looked at me and said, what are you gonna bring to the table? Let's worry about that later. Don't leave me out. You're the guy I've been looking for, right? And he looked at me again. What are you gonna bring to the table? I said, man, I don't know. Just don't leave me out of the deal. They said that I need an experienced partner. You're gonna make an offer. You're an experienced guy. You got it. So he asked me one more time, as patiently as he could, what are you gonna bring to the table? And this is the first lesson. This isn't a misstep, but it's the first lesson. And I said, please don't leave me out of the deal. I don't know. I didn't articulate my value. I didn't have a deal, and I'm asking somebody to do me a favor. A favor. That's not how business works. Anybody guess what would have happened if I got the loan by myself and did this project? I would have been bankrupt. I guarantee it. Because I know how much money I had, and I know how much I went over budget because I underestimated the rehab budget. So I know that I didn't have enough money to pull it off myself. So the banks did me a favor, right? They didn't set me up for failure. That changed everything for me because then the bank started calling me. When I was in the paper, they wanted to know what else did you have in the pipeline. I didn't even know what a pipeline was. That means, more projects coming. I didn't know what a pipeline was. I had one deal. It was, have you decided how you're going to refinance that thing after you get through your construction period? Do you want to have lunch so we can show you our products? It was just me. I was a lone wolf. I had partners and I begged for partners so I have somebody to talk to that actually cared about what I was doing because most people can't relate. But there was a gap. I needed to get that fixed. And so my good friend, Dr. James Bryant, was sitting with me after we'd done a couple of deals and he said, we're using the Myers methods on this one. What are you talking about? That just sounds ridiculous. And he's like, no, it's a real thing. We've got a repeatable process. It's 4 steps. Find, fund, fix, and flip. I believe in one very strongly because I know what it's done for me. This whole Myers Methods thing has been all about helping people make fewer mistakes. That's my whole game. If I can collect all the mistakes that other people make, and you know about them, are you gonna make the same mistake? If I tell you this, I'll never forget. I was running through the house. There was a kerosene heater in the kitchen, and I went and did this, and it was hot. And I was totally scared of the oven and all this other stuff after that. Some people have to touch the thing to see if it's hot, but I encourage you to save touching the stuff that's hot for stuff that's not rudimentary. Making a bunch of elementary mistakes will end your career in investing before it even gets started because your reputation is everything. Communication style. Sending an email to somebody and they don't have time to read your email and you're trying to communicate something important, you guys might want to get aligned. Somebody doesn't ever have time for a face-to-face meeting, probably shouldn't get in a deal with them. They don't text and you prefer to text, they don't want to have phone calls. Whatever it is, make sure that you and the people that you do a deal with are able to communicate, because once the communication breaks down, there's no opportunity for you to fix the relationship. Then you're going through trying to find that paper, that operating agreement, to figure out how you guys are going to get a divorce. Focusing on everything but operating. If you're a real estate entrepreneur, your whole game is being a great operator. I'll never forget asking my supervisor when I was an engineer one, hey, how do I get promoted here? Do a great job in the job you're in, son. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that mean? The projects that you have is your resume for getting new partners and more money. If you're not focused on that property, how is it going to operate well? If you think it's going to operate well without your focus, then what's your value at? People are betting on the jockey, not the horse. I haven't ever given this away, Jim. I've got a book. Absolutely. I got an ebook, myersmethods.com/book. I'll send you what you should do in the first 90 days of owning a property, so you can get prepared for that before you get into it. It'll come right to you if you give me your email address. We've got a podcast. It's called Multifamily Missteps. Anybody listen to podcasts? Okay. These are the most entertaining stories that you will ever hear about people owning things. And they're not one-off. They happen over and over again. The thing is, when you come to conferences, everybody beats their chest and talks about how great they are and how they always make money and they never make any mistake. Not this conference. And he looked at me and he said, this will not be how we run our business. Go through the proper procedures to get people out, but they still deserve their dignity. If that sounds intriguing to you, you want your impact to make an investment, I would love to have you all. Jim attracts great people and just want to continue to grow the tribe and give you a ton of mindset and a ton of multifamily if possible. Thank you so much for being attentive.